The Arizona Cardinals, who are a team that people are all over the place on. They're traveling to New Orleans to face the New Orleans Saints. Now, there came a time when playing in New Orleans was just one of the toughest places to play in the NFL. The home crowd, voodoo magic, whatever you want to call it. But last year, that was not the case. They were 3-6 at home. What do we think about the Cardinals? What do we think about this game? Let's talk about it.
At the end of the day, with the Cardinals, every week this season, especially this year, feels like a make-or-break year for Kyler Murray, right? And Jonathan Gannon, with all the defensive pieces he brought in, although they've had some injuries and I have questions at linebacker, there's a lot of storylines around the Cardinals, but at the end of the day, they're expecting themselves to make the postseason. The foundation of this offense is them running the football right down opposing defenses' throats, right? So I think what you're looking at in this game is you have a Saints team that tied with Dallas for the second worst run defense grade in the league last year against a Cardinals team that I think personally, I think James Conner's in for a big day. I think that needs to be the story going into this game, and then they work off of that with Trey McBride, with Kyler Murray in the read option game, with Marvin Harrison outside, right? I think they need to line up and run the football because I don't see the Saints having a real big hope of stopping them, right? And I think the big thing there is between the tackles. The Cardinals, when they run between the tackles, 7th in rushing grade last year, 6th in EPA per rush, 4th in yards per carry, 2nd in explosive run rate. They're one of the best teams at football running right downhill between the tackles. The Saints, as you might expect, are one of the worst teams in football, stopping that. Struggles, especially at defensive tackle. They're going to have Devon Godshaw and Brian Brzee and guys in there who just aren't that great on the inside. The Saints last year, 30th in run defense grade against runs between the tackles, and last in EPA per rush allowed by a wide margin. This was very arguably the worst team in the league stopping runs between the tackles. I don't expect any different. I'm really thinking this is going to be just run the football right down their throat, get to the play action concepts, and take a couple of shots maybe with Kyler Murray, get the read option game going a little bit. I think Arizona can control this game offensively in the trenches.
Yeah, I agree with you. We've talked a lot about how bad the Cowboys were at defending the run last season. The Cowboys had a 48.0 run defense grade last year. The New Orleans Saints, a 48.0. They were just as bad. So as much as we talked about how the Dallas Cowboys could not defend the run, the New Orleans Saints could not either. Ultimately, I go to the quarterback position with the Saints, and it's why, even though I'm not sold on the Cardinals' consistency yet, I think the Cardinals' ceiling is high enough to really compete against some of the best teams in the NFL any week. So the Cardinals are going to have a handful of wins. Even if they maybe don't make the playoffs, they're going to have a handful of wins this year against some really good football teams because I think they're that caliber of a roster. I don't think the Saints have what it takes to take advantage of the Cardinals' inconsistencies. I really don't. Spencer Rattler in 2024, Spencer Rattler, who is the starting quarterback for this team for week 1, 14 turnover-worthy plays, 6 big-time throws, a 49.4 passing grade. I just don't think it's good enough. Alvin Kamara is their starting running back, and for as much as Alvin Kamara has been fantastic in years past, I don't think he's as dynamic as he used to be. I like the receivers that they have, especially obviously when they're healthy, which they are, but I just don't think they have the quarterback to take advantage of it. They made the changes along the offensive line. I think the offensive line is going to be a little bit better, but I have the Cardinals winning this game 24-13. I think they're going to win it handily. I really do.
I agree. I have the Cardinals 28-16. If there's opportunities here for this Saints offense, I think it's attacking these linebackers. Of course, as we say with any Saints game in the last 8 years, they need a big game from Alvin Kamara, both in the running and passing game. And then I think Chris Olave over the intermediate parts of the field, or even we saw with Kellen Moore as the OC in Philly last year, go balls on the outside. I think they're going to attack these corners on the outside. The Cardinals' middle of their secondary is very good with Thompson, with Taylor Demerson, with Baker, with Garrett Williams in the slot. But Will Johnson and Max Melton on the outside are going to have some tough assignments out there with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. I expect a couple of go balls to at least be attempted by the Saints offense, and if they don't complete them, then I think it kind of stagnates. I'm with you. I think the Cardinals are rolling this week.